Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschayata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So I'm seeking the blessings, the mercy of all the devotees who are here, all the Vaishnavas. So kindly give your mercy, bless me, so that I'll be able to speak the right words, come at the right time in the right spirit. Doing this as a service to Srila Prabhupada, to the Guru Parampara, to my Guru, and also for the pleasure of the Lordships. So then in case, I also, like I said, I hope the connectivity stays put. So it's because I'm dialing in from outside, so I'm not sure. That's why thank you for sharing. So that we didn't want to take up the bandwidth, so I requested for sharing. So I think that came out well. Thank you so much. So we'll dive deep into these conversations that we are seeing now. So we are in Shloka 19. Shloka 19 actually is talking about what? About where this is a conversation between Vidura and Uddhava. So like you all know, both of them are devotees of the Lord, and they are now talking or recalling the various instances that they have spent with Krishna. So here, Uddhava is telling to Vidura, you have personally seen how the king of Chedi, that is Shishupala, achieved success in yoga practice, although he hated Lord Krishna. So even the actual yogis aspire after such success with great interest by performance of their various practices. Who can tolerate separation from him? So now there are two comparisons here. So Shishupala, who we all know is a personality who was like, he was there, his birth was there to only hate Krishna and nothing else. So that was the character of Shishupal. And then you also have the yogis who aspire, who do so much of sadhana, who do so much of meditation and yoga, asanas and all that. And then they also get certain amount of success. Now these two are on the same level. Krishna is so merciful that he gives somebody who hated him to the core also the same kind of liberation that is generally awarded to the yogis. So this is the conversation. Now, like I said, both Vidura and Uddhava, they are who are they? They are devotees of the Lord, and then they are meeting accidentally. Like I said, Vidura, we know he left Hastinapur, where that was his original place, but then he had to leave because Duryodhana actually did not speak properly, or he misbehaved with him, and so he immediately leaves because he is much elder to Duryodhana. And Dhritarashtra doesn't do anything, so he just leaves, and then he is actually moving around. He's on a pilgrimage, on a yatra, and then he is going to various punya kshetras, and then trying to associate with the dhams, with the deities there, and then like that he is spending time. In fact, we have seen earlier that he is actually moving incognito, or he is keeping a very low profile. So he doesn't want to be known that, oh, I'm Vidura and all that, so that people will then try to, not try, they will give a lot of respect and all. He didn't want all of that. So he is moving, keeping a low profile. And then accidentally, he is meeting Uddhava. Uddhava also has a similar story, because at this point, Krishna has already left the material world. And then with giving some specific instructions to Uddhava, because Uddhava also actually wanted to leave the material world. But then Krishna says, no, you cannot leave now. I have some work for you. What is that work? That he says, you have to carry my instructions. The instructions that I will be giving to you, you please carry it to the sages in Badrikashram. So that was a specific instruction. Uddhava actually is, it is instruction from Krishna. So he is doing it, he's carrying it out. but then his heart is not there because he knows that Krishna has already left, and he's now proceeding with a heavy heart to Badrikashram, and at that point he is meeting somebody whom he is known, who's known to him, that is Uddhava, and so there is this immediate exchange of the feelings, and that is what is coming out in these shlokas so wonderfully. They have a conversation like any other traveler who meets accidentally. So I mean, I'm also traveling now. So you suddenly meet somebody from the same place or whatever, and then there are some common points that one discusses, like, oh, I mean, you are from Bangalore, from ISKCON, and then how is so and so Prabhu, how is that family, how are they, and so on and so forth. So like that, and then eventually, in this case also, there were some pleasantries that were exchanged, and then after that, then the topic moves towards Krishna. So where else? I mean, it comes and then stands there. So immediately they begin discussing about Krishna, inquiring about Krishna, recalling Krishna and the time that they spent. In fact, when Vidura brings up the name of Krishna to Uddhava, Uddhava becomes so emotional. We've seen that in the earlier shlokas. So he is almost choking. He's showing those symptoms of bhava. And then he understands that Uddhava had a very deep or has a very deep connection with Krishna. So that's another point. So this is the platform of these two devotees who are actually meeting. And then it is quite natural that they will talk about Krishna, that the topic will quickly move towards that point. And then, what are they actually talking about? They are talking about the qualities of Krishna. So, and the quality or the depth of their discussion actually indicate how much they are attached to Krishna emotionally with the bhava. In fact, it is not out of place to recall. There is a shloka in Bhagavad Gita, which Krishna is saying, Mat chita mat gata prana Udayante parasparam Katayantaste mam nityam tushyanti cha ramayanti cha. So when devotees meet, what do? I mean, they will only talk about the Katayantaste mam nityam. So all my kathas, they only discuss nitya, they'll keep discussing about my pastimes, my kathas. And in that discussion, tushyanti cha ramayanti cha. So they derive a lot of pleasure and then happiness, and then there is so much of bonding that is there in this kind of discussions. And this is all spiritual, because we know Janma Karma Chame Divyam. These are not just ordinary stories or movie stories or anything like that. So this is all Divyam, because Krishna says Janma Karma Chame Divyam. So in this way, they are relishing the topic of Krishna always. And in this particular shloka, there is this particular quality of mercy of the Lord that is coming out so strongly, and where Krishna is exhibiting this quality of tolerance, how he tolerates so many insults that Shishupala heaped on Krishna. So we all know how Shishupala's behavior was. He had so much of envy towards Krishna. He was so malicious to Krishna because he could not equal Krishna in any way, in any of the things. There's just this general rivalry between kings and all that. No, even with all that, he was not able to equal, leave alone surpassing Krishna in any of the things. So he was filled with envy, and then he was always insulting Krishna. So, but then what happens here? They are saying how Krishna was so mercifully, he gave this mukti to Shishupala. So the mukti aspect. Here, Prabhupada in his purport, he is talking about a particular type of mukti. So we all know that there are different types of muktis that are there, that is awarded by Krishna to the various devotees, depending on the quality of the devotee or the quality of interaction of the devotee, to what extent the love for Krishna is awakened in that particular entity or individual. Based on that, there is a reciprocation that happens, because Krishna is reciprocal. He reciprocates with everybody, and then including somebody who is so malicious. So we'll try to understand that a little bit. So now what happened? The background, we all know. There is this Rajasuya Yajna that is happening, and then Krishna is present, and then all the dignitaries are there, including this Chedi Raj, the Raja of the kingdom called Chedi. he is Shishupal. So he begins to insult, and then Krishna actually kills him in that yagna arena, or in that place where the yagna is about to take place. He actually kills him. He kills him by with his Sudarshan chakra, and then everybody is watching. Everybody is witness to this particular act of Krishna, and then after the head is served from the body, and then Shishupal falls down lifeless, and then there is this jyoti or a light that begins, or it comes out from the body of Shishupala, and then it goes and then merges into the heart of Krishna. So this is something that everybody has seen. Now, Prabhupada actually is giving in his purpose, he is talking about the liberation that is attained by Shishupal, which is the liberation, the impersonal liberation, or the Brahma Jyoti liberation. And that liberation is actually a liberation which is awarded to the jnanis or the yogis. So now the jnanis and the yogis, how do they come to this point? By meditation, by doing various asanas, pranayama, so much of austerities they had to do, and then finally they get this this kind of liberation. But that is so casual, I mean, so not casually, so easily given to Shishupal, and thereby they are actually praising Krishna, saying that to his own enemy, Krishna is giving that kind of a liberation. And then Prabhupada also mentions that that is the case with, or that was the mood of Kamsa. Kamsa again was a demon, an asura, and likewise with Jarasandha. So all these people, they hated Krishna. And then, but still, mercifully, the asuras, even though the Lord killed them, they actually benefited by that particular death, because, Krishna, when he kills or when he protects, it is the same. So there's another deeper understanding, I mean, that of the actions of Krishna. So because there is nothing like good action or bad action for Krishna, because Krishna, whatever he does, it is for the benefit. So it has to be good only. So whether he kills or whether he protects, it is the same. So this is the higher level of understanding, which our acharyas so wonderfully have explained. And then philosophically, if we have to see how this is happening, this is because of the absolute nature of Krishna. Krishna is absolute. There is no duality in him. Because what is this duality? Duality is the two extremes, or the two opposites, like good, bad. That's a duality. Heat, cold, duality. So all of this is duality, and duality is basically a symptom of the material world. So, but then Krishna's actions are not material in nature. They are transcendental. So there is no duality. So one of the striking difference between spiritual and material is that one is non-dual, the other one is dual. So one is absolute. Where is this absoluteness coming from? It is coming from Krishna. And where is the duality coming from? Duality is coming from Maya. Of course, Maya is also an energy of Krishna, so we know that. But then in the material world, this is how it is set up. So the liberation that is obtained by the jnanis and the yogis with their mystic powers and all that, that is what he is offering to all the people whom he killed. So they were all getting this liberation, and they were making their life, or at least they were stopping what they were doing, and then they were given a chance to serve the Lord in a better way. So we can see how even when there is some bad action, see, everything is action, and then there is reciprocation, right? So whether it is a devotee, whether it is an atheist, whether it is a theist, a bhakta, or a mayavad, anybody you take across the spectrum, there is some action that they do, and then there is also this intention behind that action. So if you look at Shishupala, there is this action was bad because he was blaspheming Krishna always. He was very envious of Krishna, so he used to badmouth Krishna. So, he used to ridicule him or put him down. So that was it. His action was very bad. And then his intention was also bad. So he didn't have good intentions in his head because he was envious of Krishna. But still, Krishna gives him that benefit. Now, by this, we can see how Krishna is so merciful that even to his enemies, he is giving liberation. Now, if you look at a little more, we'll digress a little bit and then see what are the kinds of actions and intentions, and then how it moves on. So, like I spoke of devotees, of very pure devotees, and then practicing devotees, and then materialist people, atheists, and all that. So, we can actually classify into 4 categories. So, there is people who are doing good actions, and then whose intentions are also good. That is a devotee of the Lord. So for them, anyway, Krishna reciprocates favorably. So he gives them the kind of liberation which they want or they sought after. Which is, I mean, there are different types of liberations that we know. I'll try to cover that also. But then the first category is where the intentions are good and then the action is also good. So now here, and this is the example of the devotees of the Lord, the pure devotees of the Lord. So there, anyway, their path is made, it is set, so they will, after, they will continue with their seva, with their intentions being good, and then they'll continue to serve the Lord in that way. So they are liberated already. Prabhupada says there is no need for any liberation. Even they are already liberated. Even in this body, they are liberated. So that is one extent of the mercy of the Lord. Now, if you look at another variation to this, where the action is good, but then the intentions are bad. Somebody is doing the right action, but then their intention is not so good with respect to the Lord, with respect to devotional service. So, like the example of Putana. So Putana, actually, you know what she did? She wanted, her intentions were bad. She wanted to kill Krishna, but her action was good because she went into the household of Yashoda Mai, and because the child was born, a new child was born, and then she went, and then what did she do? She actually offered her milk to the child. So the action of offering milk to the child is a good action that is there, but then the intention was bad. Of course, she had poisoned it, so because she wanted to kill Krishna. But then what did Krishna do? He only took the good part, and then he gives a liberation where she gets the status of a mother because she was trying to breastfeed Krishna. So Krishna is seeing the good and then he's doing that. So that way we can understand how Krishna is so merciful. Then let us look at another situation where the action is bad, but then the intentions are good, the opposite of that. So now bad actions, but good intentions. What are those examples that we can think of? Anybody wants to try quickly? Okay. Hare Krishna.
Karna.
Mataji, go ahead, please.
Would Karna come under that? His intentions are good, but his association is bad.
No, his intentions are good. Is that what you're saying? With respect to Krishna. So I think Karuna is like, we are not even talking about Karuna. We are talking about
then
devotees.
Okay, what about Prabhuji? Yeah, please.
Sorry?
Shall I try, Prabhuji?
Go ahead. Anybody can answer.
The important example, the famous example given of the milk boiling in Krishna's house, that is given, Prabhuji, which Yashoda Maya switches off by putting down Krishna from her lap and then runs to...
Okay, fine. I will take that also. So that is a good example where the action is bad, but then the intention is good. But I was looking at more relatable things like,
Marish Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Marish, his action was bad, but intention was good, right?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, we have many instances of that. So thank you for that participation. So that's nice.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Akrura.
Okay, so what did Akrura do? His action was bad because he took Krishna
from
away.
Vrindavan to Mathura. Yes.
But he also his intention was good because he wanted to quickly bring an end to Kamsa. So yeah, okay. So we can take all of that. But I'm just taking a very simple example of. Agreed. Thank you so much. But let's move on. So I'm sorry, I'm just trying to take this forward. That's all. So thanks for participation. So all of those examples are correct. I just wanted to bring this example of Shabari. So it's very obvious, like, the action is bad because you don't offer a juta to the Lord, So we know, we all are involved in the services, the cooking, and how much of detailing goes in. But then she was not like that. Like, she just was tasting it and then she was giving it to the Lord because they were good. is good enough for the Lord to eat. So the intention was wonderful. She wanted to give the best to Lord Ram, but her action was not so good from a materialistic point. But then the Lord only saw the good in that particular episode. And then, of course, likewise in all other episodes also. So like this, we understand how even if the action is bad and then the intentions are good, the Lord is still merciful. Now, if there are bad actions and bad intentions, what happens? This is where then we get stumbled a little bit, because then what will he take? Both are bad. But here, these verses are giving a lot of clarity to that. See, good intention, good action, we know. That is a no-brainer. I mean, like, yeah, okay, so they will get, something good will happen. Then good action and bad intention also, now we know with these examples and many other examples, okay, fine, Krishna only sees the good. Likewise, the opposite also, bad action and good intention. So either way, okay, he takes what is good and then he is giving that particular benefit out to the devotee, and then he is merciful, and then he is giving liberation. Now, bad action and bad intention becomes a little bit of a confusing scenario, because then what is he going to see? So here, these shlokas are talking about those particular aspects where the intention was bad and the action was also bad. Where the killing of demons, when Krishna came and then his birth, so many demons he killed. All of them have got this particular liberation. But then somebody might think that, okay, any of these combinations, anyway, Krishna is going to give the benefit. So what does it matter? No, that is not how it is. That is not what the scriptures are saying. So here is where the next level of understanding is necessary. And the next level of understanding is the type of liberation that one is awarded, and that one has to be mindful of, and thereby the justification for doing good action and good intention becomes very, very obvious then. So, so when he is coming and then he is giving mercy to all, in fact, in Bhagavad Gita, there is a shloka which says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. He comes to protect his devotees and then kill the miscreants. The killing of miscreants also they are protected, because by killing them, there is no more pap or aparadhs they do, but then they are given a chance to move over. But then the type of liberation is the Sahujya liberation, or it is the merging with the impersonal Brahman, the Brahma Jyoti merging. That is the kind of liberation that they are being awarded. So, actually, Uddhava and Vidura are saying how the Lord is on a liberation spree. So, he is very liberal. That is why liberation it is. So, he is very freely giving it out. He is so merciful. He is forgiving them. He is not taking all the aparadhs and then even to his enemies, and then he just goes around doing that. Such a wonderful personality our Lord is. So that's how they are discussing. And then the next shloka, there is this example of all the people who are dying in the Kurukshetra war. So what is happening with them? They are actually seeing the Lord, the face of the Lord, and then the arrows of Arjuna are coming and then hitting them. So here in the next shloka, it is said how those people, see, you have on one hand the enemies who had so much of hatred, but then the warriors in Kurukshetra, all of them did not have hatred to Krishna, or they were neutral, or they neither this way nor that way. But then they were actually admiring Krishna. So they had so much of awe and admiration for Krishna because of his actions, because of his regal bearing. So he was looking he is Krishna, no, he is all attractive, right? So the moment you see somebody attractive, you want to keep on looking at that person, right? So in this way, they actually, it left a deep impression on their mind. So there was so much of awe and reverence, and then they were looking at Krishna. In fact, in the Mahabharata, there is this wonderful narration where they talk about Krishna in the battlefield. He stops the Ratha, and then he gets down, and then he is, taking care of the horses by giving them water, and then giving them a rub, a back rub, and then, because they are tired, right? The whole day they are running. So then time and again, they have to stop and then do that, and then feed them some grass and all that. So those actions were so wonderful, it seems, that some of them stopped fighting and they were watching this when that was happening. Stop fighting and fighting. It's a battlefield, so fight is happening everywhere. But then they used to stop and they used to look, I believe. So like this, Krishna is so attractive. And then this all attractiveness of Krishna is giving these feelings of awe, inspiration, dasya bhav, or the shanta bhav. They are actually becoming very favorable to Krishna in that sense. And they also, and then the arrows of Arjuna are killing them. So there is this liberation that is happening for them. Now that kind of liberation, if you look at the purport, Prabhupada is saying that, and then even in the translation, it says that they are achieving the abode of the Lord. They are not going into the Brahmajyoti kind of a liberation, but they are going into the abode of the Lord. That is Salokya or Swarupya, so where they have the same features of the Lord, or Sahasri, where they have the opulences, the same opulences that are similar to the Lord. So like this, they are more closer, and then the type of interaction that they will have is a little more. Whereas in the Brahmajyoti liberation, it is just Shanta Bhav, where they just see the pastimes of the Lord, and then they are have to take satisfaction in that. And then our acharyas explain how in the Brahmajyoti, when the individual is there, then he realizes that this is not where I have to be, and then he wants to actually associate with the Lord, to have some interaction with him, the paraspara sambandha. So there is some serving, some dasya bhav, or then beyond dasya, which is sakya or vatsalya or even madhurya. So these are all the various interaction levels that one can have with the Lord. So this is how when they are in the Brahmajyoti, and then they want to have this kind of an interaction, and then that desire actually propels them to come back again and then serve the Lord in a proper way, and then again go back with proper liberation. So there's always this climb or this progress that is happening, and then Krishna, of course, is giving these various kinds of liberation, or he is giving them all an opportunity to interact with him. And here it is saying that the arrows of Arjuna are Partha's astra. That's like a purificatory process. The killing of the soldiers by the arrows of Arjuna is actually a purificatory process, and then they are seeing the Lord. So they get that kind of liberation, which is actually taking them to the loka, or to the planets, the spiritual planets, that is the Vaikuntha planets. So in this way, we are seeing in that particular verse how they are all getting liberated. And then see all these the degree of awakening that is there in an individual actually will become a guideline for what is the type of position that a particular individual will get. So in one sense, the Lord is not partial, but he's giving an opportunity to everybody, including his enemies. And these are all the aspects that are coming out in the discussion. And then when the love of Godhead is awakened in an individual to the fullest, then they get the topmost, which is the Golok Vrindavan, the destination, which is Goloka. So this is something that most of the devotees would aspire for. But then, of course, we are not aspiring for liberation. It is more for the seva. So there are various levels of how one would like to interact with Krishna. So the devotees actually would want, he's not even aspiring for liberation. It is like a student. He is not aspiring for the degree, but then he is aspiring for the knowledge that is being given. So that's the mood in which a devotee is actually, a student is learning. You have certain category of students who learn that way. So it's not that, by this I will get my PhD or I'll get my master's or whatever. No, it will happen anyway. But then that is not the aim. He wants knowledge for the sake of knowledge. So his subject matter is so interesting, so he loves it, and then he or she is into it completely. But then a degree or a master's or a PhD is just a matter of fact. It will anyway happen. So likewise, liberation and other things It's a matter of fact, it will happen, but then they are more interested only in serving the Lord or in pleasing the Lord. So that's how there are these ways, like how you have various types of students, you have various types of devotees. And accordingly, then each one gets something which is more suitable for them. So, the word that is used here is Parthastra Putraha, that is purified by Arjuna's arrows. So these are various kinds of liberations that they are discussing. And then they're also seeing that, whether it is favorable or unfavorable. Even in Brahma Samhita, there is this particular verse which we will have to be aware of. Let's try to open that 1 minute. Yeah, it says, Yam Krodha Kama Sahaja Prana Yadi Bhiti Vatsalya Moha Guru Gaurava Sevya Bhavai Sanchintya Tasya Sadrushim Tanuma Purete Govindamadi Purusham Tamanam Bhajami. So what does this mean? Here we know Brahma Samhita is Lord Brahma describing the Vaikuntha Lokas and everything, the whole structure of the material and the spiritual world. So in the translation, we can understand Brahmaji is saying, I adore the primeval Lord, Govinda. So the meditators of who? So the people who are, or the entities who are meditating on this Govinda, they meditate upon him under various moods or under various sway. It could be the mood of wrath, that means anger. It could be amorous passion. So it could be natural friendliness. It could be love. It could be fear. It could be parental affection. It could be delusion. It could be reverence. And it could be willing service. So it could be anything. It could be they could be meditating upon the Lord, influenced by these things. But still, but then they attain bodily forms befitting the nature of their contemplation. Based on how they contemplate, accordingly, then they are given a certain type of opportunity or a certain type of liberation or a certain type of body or a certain type of chance, so that they could continue that particular thing in that way. So, which is actually befitting them. It's like a teacher who is offering marks. I mean, there is one question that is there, everybody has to answer. So there's a 10-mark question. So it's a long question. So there's a long answer, sorry. So then based on the quality of the answer, the mark is awarded. Somebody gets 2 marks, somebody 2.5, somebody 3, 3.5, 5, 5.5, 8, 8.5, 9, 10. So the maximum is 10, where everything is covered. So now, is the teacher partial? No. So based on what is the aspect that they are able to bring out to the Lord, in the paper, based on the question, how they are able to answer, according to that, the marks are awarded. So now it is not about partiality that somebody has got 3.5 and somebody has got a 7, or somebody has got 7 and another person 10. It is based on how they have been able to bring out how they have been able to attempt that particular answer. So the teacher is not at fault here. It is based on what is written. It is the marks are awarded. In the same way, based on the sway that we have or the influence that is there within us because of our nature, the conditioned nature, based on that, how we reciprocate, in what bhava, in what intention, whether good, bad, to what degree of goodness, degree of badness. So based on all of this, then the Lord awards a certain type of a body form, which is actually befitting the nature of that particular contemplation. So this is a very nice shloka that we should always remember, which is what is so wonderfully explained here, and it kind of matches to the discussions that we are seeing here. Yam krodha kama sahaja prana yadi bhiti vatsalya moha guru gaurava sevya bhavai. The bhava, the seva, in what it is. Sanchintya tasya sadrushim tanuma purete. Such a Lord, the Lord is so wonderful, such a Lord, I offer my obeisances to the primeval Lord Govinda. So this is in the Brahma Samhita, we can see how
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I think there is a connection problem. Just a minute.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. I got disconnected. Was that so?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think there was a call that came through. So sorry.
It's okay, Prabhu.
Okay. So now if you look at the next verse, Uddhava is actually lamenting. So this is another quality of the Vaishnava. And then he's saying, look at my position when all these things, these type of liberations have happened. The warriors who were there in Kurukshetra, who have been killed by Arjuna, they are dying. And then even though they had just a little bit of admiration for him, and then they all are all now in the abode of the Lord. And look at me, I am stuck here. So that's like he's feeling very bad about himself. And then he says that the Lord has left me, and then he is gone away, and then now I'm here. And then I have to do something for the Lord and then complete it and then go back to the Lord. So more than the instruction of the Lord, he wanted to be close to the Lord. That's another bhava that is coming out very well. And Prabhupada mentions that in the thing. And then in the shloka that follows that, which is verse 21. So there they are again discussing, who is this Lord Krishna? They are saying, he is the Lord of the entire creation. He's such a powerful personality. He is the master of the trees. What is the master of the trees? There are so many trees, Trimurtis. So he is all the Trimurtis are coming from him, we know. Then the three lokas, so Tribhuvan. So he is the ruler of the lokas, and then everything is coming from there. Gunas, three gunas. So there again, all the trees that are there, whatever you can think of, it is all coming from the Lord. And then the three Purushas are also there. The three Purushas are the three Vishnus. Garbhodakasai Vishnu, Shirodakasai Vishnu, and Karanodakasai Vishnu. So the various types of Vishnu, the three types of Vishnus, again coming from Krishna only. So Krishna is the fountainhead for all these expansions that have happened. So he is such a great personality. He is Akila Koti Brahmanda Nayaka. He is the Adipati of everything that is there. And what is he doing here in the material world? So, in his actual form as Krishna, all the Brahmas go and then report to him. So we know that, millions of Brahmas go and then give a report to him. So that is the position of Krishna. But yet he is so mild and merciful. And there are so many Manus who are there. So everybody is actually subservient to the Lord. That is the position of Krishna, topmost, Asama Urdhava. There is nobody equal to him or greater than him. All have to surrender to Krishna. But then, including the demigods, the tattvas, the Vishnu tattvas, all of them are subservient. But such a personality, what is he doing here? Here, he's standing in front of King Ugrasena, small king. Having a kingdom which is very small, tiny, when you compare the Brahmanda or the Anantakoti Brahmanda, it is nothing, insignificant it is. So the king of that particular small stretch of land, the Yadava king, Ugrasena, he is standing with his hands folded, and then he's submitting a report. He is explaining things to the king. So he is saying, oh my Lord, please let it be known to you that this is what happened in the kingdom, or whatever. He's giving a report. And then he's doing it to such a perfection that, people get bewildered. But then Prabhupada says, pure devotee is not getting bewildered. So now Uddhava and then Vidura, they are pure devotees of the Lord. They understand his position. And then it pains them to see Krishna in that particular procedure. It's like even in the material world, if a very great personality, a millionaire or somebody like that, billionaire is coming in the guise of a poor person, and then he is made to do certain things because others think he's such an individual, then the person who knows his actual identity, he or she will feel pained about it, right? They'll say, what is this? For him, he is made to do, no. And then you feel very I mean, the emotional feelings are very different in that case, because you know that particular person's identity, and then, but then he's still doing such an humble task. Then it kind of melts the heart even more. Like when he was Sarathi for Arjuna, Partha Sarathi, he played that role so well, being a driver of another individual. But then people who knew Krishna's position, their heart goes out to him, like Uddhava or Vidura. They all understood Krishna. They were not under the Maya. So they, I mean, for the others it is like that. At the other extreme of not knowing Krishna, Krishna himself says, Avajananti mama moda, manushim tanam ashritam. So people who don't, I mean, it's fools who deride me when, and then they think that I am an ordinary person, like any of them, when I come in the human form. So it is only foolish people who deride me. But then intelligent people who know Krishna, they don't deride Krishna. So they are like the Viduras and the Uddhavas, who actually are keen to see Krishna in those roles. In fact, if you look at another example that comes to my mind is with respect to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's position, of course, his associates knew, especially Nityananda Prabhu. He knew his position. And then what happens? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually taking sannyas. And then he has taken sannyas also. So now Nityananda Prabhu is very upset with that, and then he breaks that danda, you know. So he throws that sannyasi danda, he breaks it into pieces and throws it into the river. It might look like an act which is like terrible. Oh my God, why is Nityananda Prabhu doing this? But that is for us to see, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, oh, sannyasi, and then danda, and then he is a Lord himself, he's doing all this. So this is awe and reverence is there. But then there, the connect is even more deeper, where he says, you are the Supreme Lord. How can you take sannyas? How can you relinquish? You are the Supreme Enjoyer. So you are the Ram, you know, Rama. That is like you are the Supreme Enjoyer. But then how can you play the role of a renunciate, of a sannyasi? Sannyasi means you have to renounce everything. But then you are the enjoyer, so you shouldn't be doing this. So he breaks it and he throws it into the river. So like this, there are various bhavas, and then the actions might look little strange. But then if you understand the level at which it is performed, who is doing it, the quality of that individual, the amount of love that has been awakened in for Krishna in that individual, thereby these interactions are justified, and Krishna actually responds or reciprocates seeing those. He doesn't say, oh, why did you break it? He doesn't look at it like that. So he responds in a way that it is in tune with the reciprocal. I mean, the reciprocation has to be in tune, like how the teacher is giving a certain mark based on the quality of the answer that is being written by the student. So in that way, the reciprocation is there. It is not partiality. So these are some of the things that we are seeing. And then, in fact, Prabhupada also goes one step further, and then he says that his nature, that is, Krishna's nature, is gentle with everybody, especially his superiors, that is King Ugrasena and all of them. There are a lot of superiors who were there in the Yadava clan. So his behavior to his father, then to his grandfather, then his wives. So he interacted in a certain way. Then to his elder brother, that is Balaram, then his friends, then his contemporaries. So all of them, his behavior, and then his behavior as a child in Vrindavan. So where it looked like so ordinary, but then it's the Lord who is doing it, so it becomes wonderful. And then all these are relishable for a devotee who knows the Lord's position, a pure devotee. He relishes it in a different way. The bhava is different. Whereas in other regular people, they relish in a different way. So look at all these verses, look at the shlokas, so you can see how they are all connected. And so wonderfully, Prabhupada brings out these aspects so that we are able to understand, appreciate the quality of Krishna, and then the nature of Krishna, and then how he is so merciful, and then he is not partial to anyone, and he wants to give an opportunity to everybody so that they can, have an interaction level which is becoming better and better, with their understanding getting better and better. From understanding, from knowledge, then the bhava also comes in. The love is it gets uncovered, the love, because we know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always has said that the love of Godhead is always there within us, but then it is just that it is covered right now, so we are not able to manifest that. So he's giving an opportunity to uncover that, and in each one's own pace, and then he's doing it in a way that finally then it gets uncovered fully, and then the entity is going back to Krishna with complete love, and thereby then it is like a situation which is win-win for both. I mean, I shouldn't use this word win-win, but then yes, there is this abhidaya and prayojana. So abhidaya and prayojan for that individual. First prayojan is that they are getting out of this janma mrityu jara vyadi. So they become eternal, or they are like not in the temporary world of dukkhalaya and shashvata, but they are with the Lord. The quality of Lord is such chit and ananda, so they are in that phase. So this is the whole journey, and then these are the instances of various people who are in these various journeys, and then we are seeing in what stage each one is, and then through Uddhava and then through Vidura, we are seeing the descriptions of such individuals, and then how the quality of the Lord, or the merciful nature of the Lord is highlighted every time, in every interaction, whatever be the level. So on that note, I'll stop here. If there are any questions or anything anybody has on the topic that we discussed today, please go ahead. Otherwise, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Any questions, comments?
Yeah, Mataji, one question I have.
Yeah, sure, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
In text 21, in the purport, they have given three principal potencies of Krishna, namely Chit Shakti, Maya Shakti, and can you just put little light on that, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. Which verse you said? 21?
21 purport.
Okay, 21 purport.
In the middle, he is the Lord of the three
Principal potencies. He is the Lord of the three principal potencies, namely the Chit Shakti, the Maya Shakti, and Tatastha Shakti. And he is a complete master of the 6 kinds of fortune. So now this, see, there are these see, we know there is this Tatastha Shakti, that is the, what do you call, in between. You know, there are 2 potencies of the Lord, internal potency and external potency.
Yes.
Now, external potency is all this creation, the Jada Vastu, all of that is coming under the external potency of the Lord. Internal potency of the Lord is, and the material creation is from the external potency of the Lord. Internal potency of the Lord, then you have the spiritual world, and then the expansions, that is Vishnu Tattva, the expansions from the Lord, and then you also have the living entities. They are also in the internal potencies of the Lord. But there is a small difference between a Vishnu Tattva expansion and the living entity expansion. So even though we are part and parcel, we are still small, so we are called as Tatastha Shakti. So Tatastha means in between. So it is like, sorry, Mataji?
Marginal. Yeah, that's marginal potency.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that was the word.
Okay, Prabhu.
So marginal potency. So this marginal means like we are influenced by the internal energy as well as the external energy of the Lord. So that is why we are marginal, and that is Tatastha Shakti. So all living entities are Tatastha, and then Maya Shakti is the external potency of the Lord, and Chit is the internal. So now this is put in a different way. Chit Shakti is the internal potency, Maya Shakti external, and Tatastha is the marginal potency of the Lord. I hope that clarifies.
Yes,
so,
yes, Prabhu. I knew about these 3 Shaktis, but it has been put as Chit Shakti, Maya Shakti, and Tatastha. Yeah. That's why I want to a little.
Maya means, you know, the material.
Yeah, Maya,
world,
I know,
so
yes,
that is external energy.
Yes, yes.
Tatastha, and then Chit is the internal, which is the spiritual planets.
Yes, so, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Yes.
All right.
Anyone else? Shall we end the session? Okay, Prabhu. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Yeah,
Prabhu.
Thank you so much.
We'll end the session, Prabhu,
end,
by the Vaishnava Pranam mantra with Vaishnava Pranam mantra.
Yes, Mataji, we can do that.
Yeah.
So, Vancha
Kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha
Patitanam
pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
Koti Vaishnav ki
Ananta
jai.
Kote
Prabhupada
Vaishnava
ki
Ki
jai.
Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki
Thank you,
Jai. Hare
So
Krishna.
tomorrow
Thank
there
you,
is a
Prabhuji.
session where a guest speaker is coming from US. I am going to put a message also in the group. So please be on time. We'll start sharp at 9:30 because it will be very late in US. But still Mataji has agreed and she is going to take the class, tomorrow's class. So Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Thank you all the devotees. Pranam
Thank you,
to all.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Shall I end the session, Prabhu?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.